Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We are going to be doing an entire face of makeup using all of my most expensive products. I would say 90% of what I have right in front of me I have used, I have tested, I have a lot to say about, and then I have a few kind of like odds and ends, like some Guerlain highlighter, a eyeshadow primer from Tom Ford that I've actually never used. So we're gonna explore and then talk about things that I already know, use, and love. This is a $3,000 face. I have done this once before and you guys request this so much. Like that was a big video. You guys seem to really enjoy it, and even though so many of you enjoy it, I do get a lot of heat for using all expensive items. But I want to let you guys know I also do things like nothing over 10 and drugstore, makeup routine. So it's not always crazy, kind of out of touch with reality products. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I'm using my Nurse Jamie Uplift. I actually use this every time I do my makeup. I feel like it just helps my primer to absorb better. It helps my foundation last longer. I just feel like everything looks better and sits on the skin better when I use this. Like my under eyes are not as puffy. It's kind of that same look that you get after you have a facial and someone has been massaging your skin for like 10 minutes straight, but this only takes me a couple minutes. And I love it. Going straight into primer, of course, I am gonna be using my Guerlain Gold Base and my Tarte Clean Slate. I was gonna try and find a more expensive pore filling primer, but really this is the best. I use this all the time. It's $39. This one is a whopping $75. I know. I'm trying to get in the habit of only taking one pump on the back of my hand. And then I take a foundation brush, a flat one, and I just kind of paint upward. And I feel like I get more out of my product doing this. This primer, by the way, is not for oily skin. It will hydrate, but it will also firm, and it does extend the wear time of my makeup. I definitely noticed that. It doesn't completely fill in your pores though, which is why I like to use my Tarte Clean Slate. This guy right here. For foundation, I'm gonna use my All Hours foundation from YSL in the shade B30. I am going to squeeze a few pumps on my glass from Scott Barnes, and I'm going to mix in 1 drop of the Tatcha Camellia Oil. This is a really beautiful oil to mix in with foundation. I love using that trick. It just helps everything to glide on, be a little more lightweight, and do some good for your skin too. And I also noticed that my foundation does not get as blotchy or crunchy or dry looking throughout the day. So this trick does really work, but you only want to use 1 drop. It's the craziest thing. If you use more than 1 drop, then it's like too much, too oily. So I have that all right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and mix everything up. The All Hours foundation, by the way, is $58. The Tatcha is $95, but you can use the Tatcha oil at the end of your routine in your skincare routine at night. So don't just think it's just for the 1 drop in your foundation. You can definitely use that as part of your actual like skincare. I was gonna include this right here, the $250 Clé de Peau foundation, which I do really love, but just because it's good, I just think $250 is too much. So I wanted to give you a kind of more affordable by comparison, like the YSL is much more affordable compared to $250, and I like it even more. I am going to cream contour my face, and I'm gonna do that before I conceal and highlight. Recently I've been doing that, it just works for me. I feel like I'm able to sculpt my face better and then highlight and balance things, and it's one of those, I don't know, I'm just like adjusting it that way. So I'm gonna take my Natasha Denona palette right here. This is the Sculpt and Glow. I do enjoy this palette. I don't think you have to have it. I actually like a lot of other cream contours over this, but it is an all-in-one. I've been playing with it again. It's really nice. I am using my NARS Ita brush. I'm also gonna use my JD Wadey 180 brush. There is a 3-piece brush kit. You get double-sided brushes. I got this at Namie's, $80 for the kit, which is a lot of money. But so many people rave about this, and you know what? It's really nice. I do love this for kind of really shaping out the nose, even though I kind of just already went in with the Ita brush. I am gonna shape my lips. And then before I go and start blending in, I'm actually gonna take a little bit of this Metier De Beaute. It's really fancy. I don't know a lot about this line. This was actually sent to me, and it is probably the most expensive lip balm product that I have ever used. It's really nice, but I don't understand the price on this. It's 95 bucks. Basically right now my lips are pretty chapped, so I'm trying to understand if this works or doesn't. So this is one of the oddball items in this whole look that I've been using for a while, but I'm not totally sold on. We're gonna grab our trusty friend right here, the Clarisonic, and I'm going to blend out this contour. All right, cool. So now that I have really dark circles and a contoured face, I look sick. Let's fix that with a little bit of concealer. I am first gonna go in with my Mer concealer. This is a $75 concealer. I have not been a fan of this ever since I found Tarte Shape Tape. I just like a liquidy concealer more, but this is a really nice cream that if you place right in those inner corners, if you have dark, you know, purple, blue, like just really that darkness that you want to completely cancel out, this works nicely. And it is a treatment concealer, doesn't crease. It's a nice product. I just texture-wise really prefer the liquidy coverage of the Shape Tape. I also really like the Estee Lauder one. I'm actually gonna use that to highlight the rest of my face. This double wear Stay in Place, for some reason, right here, it almost moisturizes, or I don't even know what it does. It's just such a great concealer to highlight with. I freaking love it. Yeah, we're not messing around today either. If we're doing a $3,000 face, we are going like hard, we are going full glam, we are doing all the tricks. And then before anything has a chance to set and crease, I'm just patting underneath the eye, going into Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Kit, and immediately pressing that down. Same thing, you don't wanna set a crease. That's why you don't wanna wait before you put that powder on, especially underneath your eye. All right, now we're gonna bake and we're gonna use the Mer The Powder. You guys, I go back and forth. I love my Coty Airspun, but there are times when I use this and I'm just like, oh my God, like what planet are you from? Like this is a beautiful powder. It's not necessary, it's $100. I don't like showing it off too much because I really don't like you guys feeling that you have to have all of this to have good makeup. And now while all of that bake is setting and doing its job, I'm gonna go in with my Dior brow pencil. Again, this is not a Sisley pencil that is 70 or even Tom Ford that's 56. This is just my favorite. This is the Diorshow Brow Styler. This is in Universal Brown and it is 29 bucks. I have been doing much thicker brows lately. What do you guys think? Do we like it? Do you notice? I don't know, I'm into it. The brows are done. Something I like doing once everything else is complete that I don't always share this step with you guys, but I do like taking some type of either pomade or brow powder, and just to make sure no powder fluffed on my brows, lightening them up, I like to, as a very last step, just darken them in and completely be precise with them a little bit more at the end of my makeup. So I will be using this Chanel powder duo in Brun. All right, so from here, let's dust off the bake off of the face. I'm gonna keep what's underneath my eye there just because I want it to stay there and catch any potential fallout. But everywhere else, I'm kind of pressing and sweeping and making sure that this lightening effect from the bake does not get too intense. Now we're gonna go into something that I have never tried, and I'm actually super excited to try this out because the reviews are so good. Everyone says that this makes your eyeshadow last for 15 plus hours and that it makes it brighter, more crease proof. This is from Tom Ford. This is a duo where you have a powder to set the primer on top and then you have the actual primer on the bottom. So I'm just going to take this with my finger and pat this all over my lid and pray to God. This has caffeine in it to tighten and depuff. I'm now gonna take a fluffy brush and just kind of press and pat the setting powder all over my lid. I think this is really good, really expensive, but if it makes my eyeshadow completely budge proof, I am gonna be on board with that. All right, so now we're moving into eyeshadow. I'm gonna be using a few crazy expensive palettes. That's what this whole video is, so don't get upset, you guys. I'm like reaching for the big guns. We're gonna go in with a Natasha Denona palette. I'm gonna use the warm palette and I'm gonna play mainly with these shades over here. This is a $250 palette. Yeah, so first going in with the IT Cosmetics Effortless Crease Brush, I am going to take, what shade am I gonna take? I'm actually gonna start in with this warm shade and work it pretty high up in my crease. I end up blending so many other colors on top of this whole high crease transition shade. It almost doesn't even show up by the end of it, but this has been making such a big difference to not just use a very subtle color, but to actually kind of go in hard initially. If I have a good eyeshadow primer and powder down, it blends just fine, and I really like this technique. I mean, do you see how that blended though? That's why these eyeshadows are so not necessarily worth it, but they are so good, especially if you are a makeup artist, if you are a pro and you are working on other people and you want to blend quickly, effectively, have it be bright, vibrant, last. These shadows are incredible. All right, from there, I'm gonna switch up brushes. I am taking a Kylie 15 brush. I'm gonna go into this shade right here and kind of do the same thing, but just a tiny bit lower. Now taking a Haku Hoda brush, this is the S146. I am actually going to go into a Pat McGrath palette. I'm going into the Mothership. Would they please put the number on these palettes? I don't know which one that is. I will list it below, but I'm going to be taking this darker brown shade right here. I'm not flicking you off, I promise. And I'm gonna be deepening up the crease in the center. And this is a nice petite little itty bitty brush that makes doing this technique work really well. So I'm starting in the center and blending toward my nose and then blending out. And the nice thing about the Pat McGrath shadows, especially the matte ones, is they layer on top of anything. They just build and blend seamlessly with whatever look you're doing. And now I'm gonna take a MAC 283. I love how I act like I know all the numbers of everything. I really don't. I've used this so much the number is off, but it's a flat shadow brush. I'm gonna take more of that brown I just used and grab it on one side of the brush, and I am going to just work it right in this outer corner, but I'm not gonna pull it out far. All right, now I'm gonna go back with the Kylie brush, and I'm just going to kind of blend roughly all together. And I'm not really minding if I get on the lid. We're about to cover that up. I just want everything to be seamless. Now, I wore a very similar look on my anniversary, and I used this shade right here, and it was really, really pretty, but I want to do something kind of a little bit different. I'm thinking I want to play with this color right here. So I'm going to go ahead and load up my brush. I'm going to spray it with a little bit of setting spray, and I'm just going to start packing this on. And I'm just running this brush back lightly through the crease to make sure everything is still defined. And now we're gonna pop on some liner. This is a Diorshow Art Pen, and I really think this is beautiful. I have been testing this out for a couple of weeks. It's really easy to apply. I'm enjoying it. And I'm just gonna go on in and line my eyes. And then something I like doing while this is still wet, I will go into a black shadow. The Pat McGrath black shadow that is matte is one of the best, and I am going to pack this on top. That way my liner will be completely budge proof all day long. All right, so now I'm gonna dust off my bake and then do a little something on the lower lash line, pop on some lashes, and we will get back to the face. I'm gonna use two brushes on the lower lash line. This is kind of my go-to situation, Precision Smudger from Smashbox, and then the flat tip small eyeshadow brush from Kevyn Aucoin. First, I'm gonna take this darker shade with the smudger brush and really pack it on close to the lower lash line, and then fluff it out with a little bit of this lighter shade. Just for fun, I am going to take this cream shadow called Gold Coast from Tarte, and I'm gonna just use this brush, it's fine. I'm gonna grab it right on the tip and just pull this on the inner corner about halfway out. And I am gonna take a Tom Ford pencil. This is the Eye Kohl Intense in Espresso. This is pretty good. It does collect in the inner corner a little bit. The richness of this shade though is so nice. Like it's the right kind of brown. It's just very, very flattering. And now we're gonna test out a Tom Ford mascara. This is the Shutter Lash Mascara. This is in Noir 1, and I'm hoping I like this because I recently tried out a different one, this one right here, and it is just like the brush is too wild for me. It just makes your lashes kind of clump together. It was really hard to remove. So I am hoping that this one right here is actually good. I'm gonna curl my lashes with my favorite lash curler. This is from Shu Uemura, and this is the Mario Brothers edition. It's kind of cute, but this will really curl your lashes. There's something about it that just, I don't know, there's nothing else like it. Oh, this brush is so weird too. All right, we're gonna give it a good go. I don't know if it's worth 46 bucks, but it's not bad. Yeah, that's a pretty bomb mascara. It's really good, but we all know I have my drugstore favorites. The new one that's double-sided, the new one from L'Oreal, and then Lash Paradise, and then Essence. It's just hard to compete. All right, I'm gonna pop on some of my Everlasting lashes in amber. You guys know I'm obsessed with these. Like, once you find lashes that work for your eye shape and you can use them over and over and over, it's just like, every day, it's what I wanna wear, and when I try other ones, I'm like, no, this is too heavy, it's too much. So I'm gonna pop them on and I will be right back. Lashes are on, I am feeling so full glam, and I also put in my glamorous earrings. Just like everything is over the top today, I love it. I'm going to now darken up my brows just a tiny little bit with this Chanel kit. I'm not gonna use the brush that the brushes they give you are horrible. I really like this one from Pretty Vulgar. It has a spoolie on one side, a brow brush on the other, and it's 20 bucks. I really like it. And then the areas where I managed to get foundation in my hairline, I am going to attempt to fix that just a little bit. All right, this is something I've been doing recently that I really love. It seems kind of crazy. Just brace yourself. I am going to be using a slightly shimmery powder all over my entire face. This is from Hourglass. This is their Ambient powder. And I just kind of go through the whole thing. And I'm going to start kind of underneath my eye right here. And you can see it does give a little bit of a sheen. But when you just start in the center of the face and then kind of dust a little bit of the excess everywhere else, it just gives your skin the creamiest glow. It makes your skin look hydrated. It just looks really, really pretty all over the face. Feels weird the first couple of times you do it because for me, I'm like, I don't want to look greasy, but it just adds such a nice candlelit glow. I love it. I'm gonna go into an old favorite. This is the Tom Ford, the Afternooner, and it has a really good bronzer in here. This is 108 bucks. I know, it's crazy, but all three products in here are super beautiful. I did a dedicated WTF on this, and I just fell in love with it straight away. A lot of pigment there. This is a Marc Jacobs brush, by the way. I always like to get a little bit of the excess off on the back of my hand, and this brush is 80 bucks. It does blend beautifully. You don't need something like this, but I'm not complaining. I do like it. And now I'm gonna go into this ridiculously expensive blush from Sisley. This one is another WTF item, and it wears exceptionally beautifully. It is gorgeous. It's $110. I can't hate it though, because it is really pretty and it's very different and it's long wearing and it just adds a little extra oomph to any look. Again, there are so many other blushes out there that are not this crazy expensive, but it is good. I'm gonna use the Bobbi Brown blush brush, and we are just going to kind of go on the apples of the cheek and a little bit up and back. Sometimes I like taking a velour puff and just kind of like lightly grazing any area that needs to be blended together. Oh yeah, I have this, you guys. This is from Guerlain. This is the Gold Pearl Meteorites, and I just thought this looked so pretty. Just everything about it, the jar, just everything. And it smells like violets. Oh, this scent. I love it so much. All right, I am just going to see what happens using this as a highlight. Very dusty. This again is one of those more like finishing powders that you could use everywhere. But if you want to go a little extra hard on the highest points of your face, you can totally get like a nice minimal pretty glow. For a more intense glow, which I do want for this look, I want something a little extra. I mean, we're already full glam. I feel like I should be wearing a ball gown right now with the kind of makeup that I have on. We're gonna go in with the Hourglass Vanish highlighter in Pink Flash. And I'm gonna grab it on my beauty blender and just kind of tap this just on the very, very highest points of my face. This picks up on camera like nothing else. It just, especially in photos, it makes your skin look so unreal. I'm obsessed with this. All right, so I really think I should be cut off from the makeup. I have been putting layer after layer after layer, but this look is gonna like lock into place. It's not moving, it's not going anywhere. So now we need to do a little bit of lipstick. I'm gonna take my Edward Bess lip liner. I talked about this in my favorites of the year, and I'm just going to line And I wanted to play with this right here. This is a $75 lip palette from Smashbox, but you get so many beautiful colors in here. These are gorgeous. The formula is gorgeous, and if you're into a lip palette, this is one of the best ones out there. I'm gonna take Annie, and I kind of want to brighten it up a little bit, so I'm going to take a little bit of Sandra up at the top and just go in the center. That's the nice thing about a palette, is you can kind of custom whatever shade you want. We're gonna take this gloss from Sisley. This is the Fido Lip Star. Don't think it's worth it, don't think it's worth it, but it's probably the most expensive gloss I own. It's 57 bucks. However, the drugstore has so upped their game as far as sparkly, shiny, lip topper-esque lip glosses that I look at this and I'm just like, no, absolutely no, not worth the cash. All right, we are going to set the face now, and I do have to update you guys. I did a WTF on a $200 setting spray. This is the Chanel Sublimage setting spray, but it's also kind of skincare, and I have enjoyed this thoroughly. I just finished one of the tubes. I'm on to the second one, and if you're curious when I say tubes, it's like a refillable thing. I love this. I love it. Don't know that I'll repurchase it, but I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I do feel like it makes my skin look really pretty. And then because this is not going to elongate the wear time of my makeup, I do also go in with a little all-nighter. And I am still into this all-nighter pollution protection because why not? When I first started YouTube, I would never in my wildest dreams think that I would sit down and be playing with this much expensive makeup. I'm super blessed that I get to try out makeup and review it, and then that I get to purchase makeup as part of my job to review it as well. So I do want to put the very loud disclaimer out there that you do not need to go and spend this much money on makeup. You know, if you want to spoil yourself and pick an item here and there that you think would feel luxurious and work better for you, then go for it by all means. But I am going to follow up this video in a little bit with another nothing over 10 makeup look and do something really dramatic as well. Thumbs this video up if you want to see that. I do hope you enjoyed this, seeing all these WTF items in action, and thank you so much for hanging out with me. I love you guys. I will see you all in tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching. Mwah.